tell you about why you should learn English because English have many benefits. And first, English is one of the most widely spoken languages. Although it comes second to Mandarin in the total number of speakers, English is the language you'll be able to use most widely, as it's spoken in more countries than any other language. That means that English is the language that will give you the best return for your effort. After all, intellectual challenge aside, there's little point putting a huge amount of time and effort into learning a language that you'll hardly ever have the opportunity to use. As well as the UK, a whopping 60 of the world's 169 countries have English as their official language. The USA, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, to name but a few. It's the language of diplomacy and the official language of the European Union. The United Nations or NATO and the Europe Free Trade Association, not to mention many Commonwealth countries. That's more, English is the commonly adopted second language of people in a great many more countries, including Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Germany, and Holland. In total, around 1.5 billion people speak English worldwide, and another billion are in process of learning it. Will you make this number ever bigger by learning by yourself?
Being able to speak English allows you to communicate effectively in numerous countries, and this opens up lots of possibilities for you in terms of the country you could choose to seek work in one day. Not to mention travel to as a tourist. You won't have to worry about getting lost when you travel to an English-speaking country, as you will easily be able to ask for direction and talking guides towards ordering food, and chatting to the local will no longer be a source of stress. What's more, career that involve lots of or international exposure, such as the airline, tourism, and film industry, use English as their official language. And many employers in that sector are likely to require evidence of the certain level of proficiency in English before they will consider employing you. This means that if you can speak English, you will find that you have a great number of possible careers to choose from after you finish at university.
English will make you more desirable to employer. Being fluent in a second language clearly demonstrates a powerful brain and reflects someone who has put in the huge amount of time, resource, and commitment needed to master another language. But while being bilingual is impressive, full stop. No matter what combination of language you speak, adding English to your CV will be particularly useful. Not only isn't an especially complex language to get to grips with, a fact that reflects well on your for having mastered it, but as we've seen, is also an incredible useful language to learn because so many countries speak it. You'll be in a much stronger position to apply for job overseas if you reach a good level of fluency in English. English has been referred to as the language of business, and it's not hard to see why. If you have ambition to become an international business person, it's essential that you're able to speak English fluently. More often than not, even if you're not thinking of living and working abroad, that doesn't mean you won't find English a helpful language to put on your CV. There may well be plenty of English-speaking multinational corporations with office in your home country. What's more, English skills are just as desirable to employer in your own country and language as they are to employer in English-speaking countries. Here are just 3 examples to give you an idea of the kind of situation in which English might come in useful in your own country.
English gave you access to some of the world's best universities, like Oxford, Cambridge, and Harvard, just a few of the famous universities, and the top of the world education. And you need to speak English fluently for access to any of these, as they are English speaking. The benefits of that speak for ourselves. If English is not your native language, you need to take an English test during of English, the admission process to prove that you level. So, if you English fluently, you can choose which the favorite university you like.
English is the language of some of the world's greatest literature. If you learn English, you will be able to enjoy works by some of the world's most famous writers in the language in which they were intended to be read or heard. Translation rarely does a writer true justice. So the only way to appreciate a classic literary works properly is to read its original language. It even better. So you will deepen your knowledge of English by new words and sentence structures.
English allows you to get more from popular culture. The world's highest grossing movies are made in Hollywood, and needless to say they are made in English. And many times have you who made a favorite pop song but not being able to sing along because it's in English and you don't know the word, there is a solution. Kiss those annoying cinema subtitles goodbye and get more out of the music you enjoy by learning English.
English allows you to enter international conversation and events. Major sport events such as Olympiad are held in English, and so are international conferences. So, competitor and diligent will need to able to speak English to able to get most out taking part. You may find yourself need to attend conversation as part of your choosing career. So, learning English now will be enormous benefit to you in year to come. Not only will you able to understand the talking, but you get a lot more out the networking opportunities that come with such event. If you can talk effectively in English, you never know there may be new employer or client among the crowd and follow diligence. So, make sure you can communicate with them.
English has a simple alphabet and everyone equal. And the English alphabet is straightforward, making it easier to master than the symbol or picture that make up some language. If you struggle to learn more complex alphabets, you might find you make more progress with English, which share alphabet with many other languages.
English gives you wider access to knowledge. English is also the language of science. If you learn English, you won't just have access to a greater proportion of the vast amount of knowledge available on the web. You'll be able to educate yourself, still further being able to read scientific books and papers. English is, of course, essential if you intend to pursue a scientific career. Within the Science Citation Index, compiled by the Institute for Scientific Information, An estimated 90–50% of articles are written in English despite only around half being for English-speaking countries. According to the Open University, at Oxford University, 2/3 of postgraduate students come from outside the UK. The students in the university chemistry research lab admit that working in English is a key attraction.
English is a fantastic intellectual challenge. English is undoubtedly one of the harder languages to learn, full of nuances and except pronunciation, a true and infuriating exception to rule. It takes dedication and perseverance to reach a good level of fluency. If you're on the lookout for a new challenge, learning English may be just that you're after. Not only that, but because it is so widely spoken, it opens you up to a number of new culture experience, which will help you develop that skill, meet new people, and grow your confidence in handling new situations.
When you're learning English, you're not just learning a language, but you're also learning the whole language in the world. For the example, when you want to speak with people in Japan, of course you also need to speaking Japanese, but if you're learning English, you don't need to do that. For the first one, if you're learning English, you will have so many friends for another language, for another country, and also you will have a college, friend in business and something like that. And this one is the important one. Language is not just a language, but language is also the key to explore around the world. And when you have a friends, of course you will learn the culture of one country. You can share Indonesian culture and Japanese culture. You can talk with they and something like that. So English is very useful language. What are you waiting for? Come on, learning English.
Thank you for